You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the July 9th, 2024 meeting of the Michiana Shores Town Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, well then let's call this meeting to order, and we'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, John, you want to do the roll call?
President Dinah Dumbriz.
Present.
Virtual.
Recording in progress.
I hope so. Vice President Samantha Arnold.
Present.
Ralph Box.
Present.
Sam Paxton. Present. Rich Young. I guess he's absent. I'm here. Attorney Brad Adamski. Present. Fire Chief Gary Benedix. He's absent. Police Chief Mark Swistek. Looks like he's absent.
He will be absent this evening.
You know that.
Yes, he is.
Thanks for letting me know. Park Board President Gene Paxton. I guess that's an absent too. BZA Matt Bowen, he's absent. Floodplain Administrator Ray Dumbriz. I guess he's
Not on.
He's not on.
No, he's not on. Absent.
Absent. Plan Commission President Isaac Zeckel. I see he's listed as it, but I don't see him.
I'm here.
Virtual. Website Technology Samantha Arnold. I know you're here. Road Commissioner Bob Sokowski.
Here, but I don't have any video. All I have is audio.
We can see you.
We can.
I think I did as well. Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Come on, Rose.
I was busy.
Okay. Next we want to, I skipped one. I was going to skip one. We need to adopt a meeting agenda. I know we had one more item to add. I sent it around, but I didn't get it printed out because I just got home. But to add under new business, add an item to discuss dead trees on private property near public roads. So that will be a new business item.
Dead trees on what?
Dead trees on private property near public roads. Or I guess it could be public right of way, but public roads.
Good.
I think that's all. I think the other things are on here. We have questions, we can bring them up. Do you guys have any other additions to the agenda?
I do not.
Nope. Okay, great. We will.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda with that additional modification under new items.
Second.
I have a motion by Ralph and seconded by Sam, so we will adopt this agenda. Awesome.
No, you have to have vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Now I can do my.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, now next we need to approve the minutes from June 12th. That, was it the 12th or the 11th?
It was the 11th.
Okay, I'll upload that in the meeting notes. They say 11th on the meeting notes themselves. Has you guys have time to review them? Do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I had sent a reply to Joan about under the status of the road commissioner equipment purchase. It was incorrectly described in the minutes that they were delivered
They were what?
Well, you say in your,
Unfinished business
Under
item purchase, yeah, C,
8C,
yeah.
7,
At the town's older tractor?
8C, purchase of maintenance equipment for town. Sam Paxton gave an update on equipment, no written report provided. The town's older tractor was picked up by a contractor and new equipment was added and returned. I said nothing close to that. I gave an update saying that it was going to be 30 to 45 days to be delivered. And so I got an update. I'll give the update later.
Okay, so there was no older tractor that was sent. Someone said, I don't know if it was you, because I'm trying to write, I can't always always look up. Someone said that they picked up a tractor and equipment was added to it and it was returned and the price was included in the original bid for the new equipment.
I think that's the, actually,
I said that was going to be the process.
that's the process, but it hadn't happened
Okay.
yet.
Type it up and send it to me and I will change it for next month. Because I can't understand what's on the recording and I don't get the recording from here.
Okay.
This is
If I could interject something here, if I could interject something,
Sure, Bob.
that was the county's equipment that was there, not ours.
County equipment that was where?
Across the street at the garage. It was not our equipment, that was the county's equipment.
So we may
Why
have,
do we have county equipment in our garage?
It wasn't in the garage, it was sitting outside.
And that's the one that was picked up by the contractor who's gonna furnish our new?
Picked up by the county, I would imagine, it's their equipment.
No, it was-
Okay,
So it's two-
This has nothing to do with this.
right, it has, yeah, two separate things. We probably mentioned that there was county equipment getting picked up.
That's
But-
all right, we'll get a written report from Sam and I will change it in the minutes and we'll have it for next month.
So then we will have to wait until next month to approve these
Okay,
minutes.
I'll put a note on here, hold it for Sam's. Whatever he said, because
I have no further comments on the agenda.
Okay, I don't have any either. So we will wait to approve.
that's where the written reports are very handy.
For
Okay,
next month.
anything
Okay.
else?
No, so that we will wait to approve this until next month.
Okay,
Now we will go to the reports from clerk treasurer.
okay, so first thing we have is the additional appropriations and all of you have a copy of that.
Yeah, but I can't read it because it's not printed correctly.
The what?
I don't know what happens, but it's sideways, and if I try to print it, open it, I can't read it. Let's see. Oh, I
Change
gotta
it to-
download it. Never mind, I'll just download it.
Switch it to auto portrait.
No, it's the way it was copied and attached. Hold on. There we go.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll read them. Chase Card Services, $50 for budget seminar. It also had postage for refuse, $272. They're $21.39 for Adobe, Microsoft $25.
Wait, oh, okay, I'll wait till you're done and I'll ask my questions. So,
Okay, Department of Waterworks $19.12 for both Kincaid Park and then for the garage. the same amount, $19.12. Friedman Associates for legal on the Grobelny case, $3,231.25. IPSCO, $20.40 for streetlights, $43 for garage electric, and $70.62 for garage heat, gas, whatever you want to call it. Our total of $3,771.90. And you have a question?
Yeah, and maybe I never caught this before, but for the budgeting seminar, Adobe and Microsoft, why is the payee Chase Card Services and not Microsoft, Adobe, and whoever was running the seminar?
Because Adobe and Microsoft is not doing the seminar. It comes out of AIM.
No, I know, but so the very first line, the payee is Chase Card Services, but the description is for a budgeting seminar.
That's right.
Who
We
did-
pay for it through Chase
Through
Card Services.
So you just treat the credit card, not the actual,
That's how.
gotcha.
They're the payee.
Yeah, I don't think I caught that before, thank you.
I have a question on the Grobelny legal expenses. Do you have a running total of what that is total? Or could you provide one?
Or is that from Brad?
I don't know if there's a total rundown on it. I'm sure Dinah has one.
Danya, are you aware?
Yes, I am. What?
Are you aware?
I didn't hear Joan's question about me. What?
Do you have the vouchers in front of you?
For this month? Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know that we have to go through it right now, but Sam's asking if there's a line item for the legal fees.
The total amount that we've paid,
For Bellamy.
Oh, total amount to date?
Today?
today.
Oh, you didn't want to know.
No, I didn't.
I'm so serious. I don't have it handy.
Okay.
But it does exist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you,
If you want it for next month, I'll get it.
can we have it before next month?
Like yesterday?
Sure. Yesterday.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thanks.
Any more questions that I can't answer?
No, I'll make a motion to approve those budget items.
I second.
It has been moved by Ralph and seconded by Sam. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All oppose? They have been approved. I don't think you want to give me that.
Oh, no, sorry. For the June payroll, I'm just going to read the final dollar amount. And this dollar amount is for everything including payroll, and it's also the amount that is transferred over to the budget. It was $20,791.78. Includes all the taxes the employer pays, benefits.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll.
Can I second it?
Yes?
Okay, I will second it.
Okay,
So it has been motioned by Ralph and seconded by me that we approve the payroll. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Looks like we are good to go.
that sounds good. That was painless.
Okay.
Want me to- Here's those two.
Don't we need, oh, sorry.
And then we have the vouchers for July. Is that for you here?
Voucher for July.
I think everybody has a copy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, legal, Brad Adamski. This is for the miscellaneous. That was $87.50. Michiana Shore Volunteer Fire Department, $105 for rental. Newman Signs, $354.09 for the shipping charges of the two 12-foot poles for the new radar sign. Office steeple for printing, this was for printing for the tree ordinance that Ralph requested, $83.93. AT&T for just telephone and internet, $83.93. AT&T for the wireless, $63.16. We received a $25 credit on that because of the problems that they've been having. Brenda Heckman, $72.36, traveling to the post office and to the bank. Bradley Adamski for the monthly legal for July, $675. Dominic Moffo, reimbursement for tennis court, net, handle, and gear assembly, $360.10. LaPorte County Building for the inspections, $700. Michiana Shores Volunteer Fire Department for fire protection, $3,755.17. Newman Signs for the two 12-foot poles for the radar board was $146.06. Office steeple business credit, $85.07. Ink cartridges and envelopes. Pure Mirror Group LLC insurance, $1,436. For workman comp. Republic Services, $715 for refuse pickup, $4,892.88. And the town of Long Beach for police protection, $5,691.
Can I get a motion? Any questions?
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I wanted to ask about the LaPorte County building inspection. That was them inspecting our building?
No, those are for the building department. LaPorte County does all of our inspections for the
They perform.
building permits.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Great. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the July vouchers.
I say you second. I have a motion from Ralph and a second from Sam. All in favor to pay the vouchers?
Aye.
All opposed? They are approved.
Could I give you the total amount?
$18,537.46.
Right. That is all I have for vouchers. As far as the status of the outstanding, nothing has changed since last month. Attorney Adamski has the information from last month. We will be sending out reminder letters. They had until the 8th to pay it, and we're going to be sending out reminder letters for them so that they.
Before we do that, we sent out letters at the board's request on 6 of those on June 13th.
Okay.
So if you're confirming none of those are paid, we can discuss it now, or we can talk about it when we get to legal. If you want to bump those to further legal action.
So no one replied one way or another.
We then contacted our office, and it's been nearly a month.
Is that where they were directed to contact your office?
Yeah, basically we included a copy of the last invoice you sent, reminded them of the July 8th deadline, or else additional fees could be assessed.
And no one's answered you.
Not us.
Okay, you did that on June 13th?
June 13th, 6 letters.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Do you guys want to discuss that now, or?
Forever hold your peace.
We can discuss it now.
So we're saying we sent them on the 13th.
Yeah. Reminding them, because the last invoice which was sent from Joan's office had a deadline of July 8th to make payments. So at the board's direction last meeting, we said go ahead and send letters, which is what we did. We included a copy of the last invoice from the clerk's office, reminded them that I can actually read it verbatim to you. Our firm represents the town Michiana Shores as property owner in the community or liable for annual assessments for refuse collection, which includes leaf pickup. Enclosed with this letter is an outstanding invoice due to the town for your property at insert address. Total amount due at this time is insert the amount due. Please be advised that for the legal statement, there's a late fee to be assessed if you pay after July 2024. The purpose of this letter is to serve as a final notice that the invoice is not timely paid. The town intends to pursue legal action to enforce the payment of the invoice.
So what's the logical next step?
At the amounts, it's, that's the judgment, right? I mean, the cost of pursuing them with legal through small claims collection, you would assert that they're responsible for the attorney fees as well as the filing fee, but in some cases, the filing fee itself is just as high as the outstanding invoice, let alone tacking on even $200 for attorney fees. So it's a judgment call. Obviously, we thought the minimum cost of sending out letters, see if anybody would pay, but Jones confirmed none of these people would pay.
An electronic copy of the list of people that we were sent.
I thought we had sent that before the June meeting. Joe gave me a copy in May. And
Yeah, you had given that to us.
So
It was probably 2 months ago.
Yeah. So the amount should be the same because it's a.
But the list hasn't changed.
Right.
I'm just looking real quick.
Well, what I would propose is we are trying to plan an executive session sometime soon. And I would put this on that agenda for us to discuss it in more detail.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to better understand the nuts and bolts of the small claim court process. I think you indicated, Brad, that we can attempt to do that ourselves. To pay, you felt like it was not going to be cost justified to spend a lot of money, and you would have to combine all the cases in one.
Consolidate them to make it efficient. Make it more
Probably.
cost effective.
Yeah,
But again,
topic for the,
Yeah, if we want to talk about it.
yeah, we'll talk about our executive
Okay.
session then.
Okay.
Great. Anything else from the clerk treasurer's office?
That's it.
I had nothing on the agenda under resolutions and ordinances. Did we miss?
I think, Joe, you brought up a need for a resolution or something earlier this week.
That's right, I see it's not on here, but we can't get the garage roof done until you have a resolution so I can pay them 50% of it. And nobody did a resolution, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
And that's because it's a certain amount of money?
No, it's because of the state regulations, we don't pay for anything until after we already have the work completed. We have a contract that says we're gonna do such and such. And once the work is done, they submit the bill and we can pay it. That's after it's done. On the garage, they wanted the full 100% up front.
So-
And I could not do that in good conscience and go against the state regulations. So I asked for the resolution, and that's exactly what it states. We need a resolution from the council
So,
to state that we can do that.
And I'm ignorant in this regard, but hasn't the insurance company probably already sent us a check?
Yeah, they
So
have.
it's-
That's not the point. The
Okay, I just
point-
wanted to clarify that.
That's right. The point is, we do not pay ahead of time for anything.
I agree.
That's a go. And it has to be itemized.
So then it looks like we will have to, we don't have a resolution today. We will have to create one for the next meeting.
Okay, this is, I don't understand the process, but I'm going to ask Brad because he's got more experience. Is there something we can do now, tonight, to move forward on this, but also give Joan the protections she needs as the town clerk?
She's still going to want a written resolution
That's
for the
correct.
record. So you could vote to approve it subject to circulating and then signing the resolution. I mean, obviously, you've got enough board members to approve it, but it's got to be contingent on it actually being converted to writing and reviewed and signed off by each of the members.
So I would propose we
That way you're not waiting.
vote on it, and Dinah can figure out how to get a resolution that we can sign
That
as
way
quickly
we're
as
not-
possible.
Okay.
Right, that way you're not waiting until August, and that's something you can't do in an executive session, because you can't take action.
Right, yes, okay.
Okay. What is the amount?
It's gonna be right around 5,500, 5,800, something like that.
We like
Over
to vote.
11,000, and it could be more, but we're just going by what the insurance company paid now,
So what did the insurance company pay?
somewhere around 11,000.
$11,000? So that would be in our max.
No, that's not the max.
What-
That's
That's what the insurance company.
that's what the insurance company adjuster came up with.
So I'm just saying, and what we vote on, I could say not to exceed $11,000.
Well, no, to
No.
Joan's point, she wants it to be half of that. So we,
Oh,
the
you want to pay
resolution would call for paying 5,500, and we would have pre-approved that tonight, but we would still need the resolution sign off to get to Joan so that she can proceed with the check.
Great.
It's technically 50% of the quoted price from the insurance
Okay,
company. And I can get the exact figures if that's what you want on the resolution and get it to Dinah.
great.
I sent that information.
Okay, thank you.
Earlier in the month.
For the purpose of the motion, I do not to exceed, then the specific amount can go to the written resolution.
I can't hear you, sorry.
For the purpose of your motion, do it not to exceed, like you said.
Yeah, yeah. So can I get a motion to create a resolution not to exceed $5,500 to pay the roof contractor for the town garage?
I'll make that motion.
And can I get a second?
I was trying to think of the wording. in my head.
That's what
Okay, so all in favor? Aye.
I know.
All, Dinah?
it's
I can't vote.
Right, and if she were required to vote, if there's something, then it's gotta be roll call. So since all three of you are majority.
Gotcha, okay.
good.
Then we have the resolution pass, and then we just have to write it up.
Yeah, so Dinah will draft the resolution, circulate it around. Joan will own the originals that we put down here and sign, once we get the language right.
So that passed with 3 ayes, one who can't vote because she's virtual, and one
No.
who's absent.
3 ayes that are here.
I have to put everything down.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so, now we move on to, oh, what happened? Shoot.
Departmental report.
Yes, I think I was just taking notes in the wrong document. Departments reports, first up, the police chief report.
You have it, that's on file?
He did, yes, we do have it on file, so we don't need to read it, okay. Fire chief, we also got a fire chief report. It's Gary here? Awesome,
97.44 hours were spent during the month. On the 4th, we had a business meeting, the 12th, training meeting, 19th was truck maintenance, the 26th was truck maintenance. Calls for the month on the 5th, Sunset Trail for lines down. Also on the 5th, Lakeshore Drive for a fire alarm. On the 7th, Pokagon for a medical call. 8th, Hayden Trail, which is in Center Township for a structure fire assist. Also on the 8th, Martin Drive for a medical call. On the 8th, LaSalle Trail for a medical call. 13th, Mohawk Trail for a medical call. 14th, Hillside Trail for a CO alarm. On the 17th, Pontchartrain Drive for a fire alarm. 18th, Manitou Trail for a fire alarm. The 20th, Hoosier Trail for a tree that fell on the house, but there was no fire. The 25th, Pocantico Trail for a medical call. 26th, Michiana Drive for a fire alarm. And the 29th, Michiana Drive for a medical alarm. So total for the month, Michiana Shores, we had 2 fire, 2 first responder. Michiana, Michigan, 1 fire, 2 first responders. Dublin, we had 1 of each. Mutual aid assist, we had 5.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Bob.
all.
Do we have a building commissioner or code enforcement report?
I did not, yes, I've got, I'll just get the report and send it out to you guys tomorrow. The building report, building commissioner's report, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, here we go. 301 Groveland, replacing, a driveway, 405 Groveland, replacing plumbing, 3642 Birchwood, repairing and replacing, deck, 405 Groveland, installing a new bathroom, 215 Pokagon, the addition of a screen porch, added that permit was issued, but nothing has taken place yet on it. I have 3 more permits that are completed, and I will drop them off at the office hopefully tomorrow for review on Friday, when Brenda and Joan will look through those. STR renewals, 415 Pinewood renewed and 10 Powhatan have renewed. We do have one that is still outstanding now, and they were making a determination if they're going to keep renting or not, and that is 3615 Powhatan. So I did reach out to them yesterday, but I got no answer as to whether they're going through. They said they were going to talk about it and then, make a decision. So anyway, that's only 1 left out of those, and then everybody else is in the fall and next year, so we'll be up to date on these. Then the next BZA meeting is taking place the 25th of July at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you, Dinah.
I have a question.
Joan has a
Yes.
question, Dinah.
Since I'm the keeper of the records, I have not received anything on the council's permits that's been signed and approved. I suppose
What
I can,
council
so we can
permits?
get it for the records?
I'm sorry, council permits?
The council signs the STR permits.
Oh, okay.
And then the placard that goes in there.
Oh, yes, you need the
I never-
permit from, you mean the most recent one, 210, that was approved.
I don't have any of them.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
did Deb
pass
have
that
it?
along to you.
Does Deb have it in her files she gave you?
That was after Dell, wasn't it?
No, there was some approved before. I've never gotten them.
You don't have any permits that have been issued by the, for STRs at all?
There may
I'm
be
asking
1
a
or
question.
2 right at the beginning when they started it, but I don't have them.
Okay,
There's a lot of them I don't have.
all right. I don't have them in any kind of paper form except for 210 Sunset, which was just approved in May. We do have documents that are now available on the Google Docs, which can be found. So I will look through those and find out what paperwork is in there. Otherwise, I don't have anything from earlier on any of those things.
Okay.
Not as a council member, not as a temporary,
Okay,
enforcer, whatever,
You also-
okay?
Dinah, you should also have the gentleman on Oakland, I don't recall his name, but,
Which one?
the one that renewed in, on Oakland. I went,
By
I
Oakland,
went
said?
to the inspection and I think he signed, and then Ducey's also, didn't Ducey's?
They all have their permit. Everybody who applied has their permit. Everybody who was on track for it got their hard card.
Those are, you don't need everyone?
Yeah, so those are just renewals that they're getting. We're not talking about a brand new one, and these are just a new hard card. So I would be happy to drop those copies off for Joan.
we should have the renewals too on file. We get questions all the time.
Joan, that's fine. I can get you all of those that I worked on now since, that I got to work on.
Okay.
And I'll get those over to you, okay?
Yeah, you can do that and I'll just put in the file. I don't know what happened to the other ones.
Okay, anything else for code enforcement? Park board, did we get a written report from Jean? Jean?
No.
No, okay. Bob, road commissioner.
Okay, 1,800 pounds of patch for the month, trees down on Meadow, Oakdale, and a hanging limb on Powhatan. Mowed twice. 1,000 yards of grass. 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 1,0 and a poster in for the radar sign, so they should be going up hopefully in the next couple of weeks. The garage roof, that what a shenanigan that was. She wouldn't even pay the $1,000 deductible. And she's got the money from the insurance, and she's saying that I'm not even gonna get into it. But
Yeah, don't get into it because I'm going to read the regulations.
I've got a question about the location of the radar signposts at Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an idea where those are gonna be, or where?
I'm gonna try to look to see how it's set up to where I can put it so that we can turn it so it can get traffic coming from both directions. But I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood where the radar sign is right now.
Okay. The location of the temporary one there that's now there, kind of blocks the signage to the park, so if we could avoid putting it there, that would be good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not gonna be nearly as big as what the radar trailer is, so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Any other questions for Bob?
No.
Advisory Planning Commission, Isaac.
Yes, good evening. Like Donna said, we approved the screen and porch to 12 Ogagan, and we continue to work on the draft tree ordinance that we're kind of working through, so that's about all we got going on.
Okay. Any other questions for Isaac? Nope. BZA, Matt, did we get, I don't think Matt's on, is he?
No, he's
Okay.
never here.
White Ditch Drainage Warrant, Dinah?
Hi, nothing concerning Michiana Shores. I reported that I thought that there was a limb hanging over the ditch between El Portal and Pokagon, and they're supposed to send somebody out to take a look at that because the eastern portion is under the drainage board's responsibilities. Other than that, I have nothing on the drainage board itself, just on White Ditch. I got several emails with photos of trees that are either in or across the ditch, so we'll have to talk about that and cleaning that up because that part that is ours to be responsible for, because those are to the west side there where the nature path is. So
There was some drainage board, county drainage board meeting this month.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, Dinah, is that all?
no, so that's all here on my for the report.
Got it. Thank you. For the website, oops.
Thank you for sending the report.
Oh, sure. The website continues to get more traffic than last year. This month is like the previous months. You know, I think it's June. I think it's this, busy time of year. So we got like 76% more traffic than June last year. We just continue to get much. The bigger thing is, besides getting traffic, is we get what are called engaged sessions, which means people come to the website and find what they're looking for. And they're coming and looking, they're not just bouncing, they're able to find information, it's doing what it's supposed to do. We've continued to see that metric, so that's good. 60% of the traffic is from phones. Our website is optimized for mobile, and that's good because most traffic comes from the phones. The change this month, since it is summer, is the garlic mustard seed post has finally been dislodged as our most popular page.
As well as should.
As well it should. It is now,
Yeah.
not surprisingly, we have a very basic page dedicated to Beach Stop 37, and that's right up there after the home page. Also, the information on noise ordinances and quiet hours got some attention, not surprising, and the summer picnic. So
Excellent.
those are what people are interested in looking at. And we do get, there's a contact us form on the website where people send in questions, comments, need information, whatever, often goes to Diana or the town council. I just realized I don't put a count in here, but if you'd like, I can add that. There's usually anywhere from 4 to 8 a month but keep account of how many people are also contacting the town via that form.
I would track it.
Yeah, I mean, we are all saved and documented, but I've never tracked it as a number, but I could definitely put it.
That way you can tell over time if it changes appreciably.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Address it some other way.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely do track what the topics are, so, cool.
I have a question, if you're taking questions. Where are we on the in.gov domain?
It is, we have been granted our domain and, but is now trying to find a block of time to go through and do that and also get pricing for you on Microsoft. I don't know if that's an option, but you requested that. So that is where we're at. We have that and we have the domain, but in order to put it to use, there's some extra steps.
But isn't there some grants or some funding that we
No.
can get from them?
No, it's just that they give you they use Google Workspaces, and they offer a very, very attractive rate, which is what we talked about, to use it as a documentation and email source. It's really inexpensive compared to the general rate.
Is there anything in there concerning cybersecurity, anything to help?
We already, the service that we use for our website, the hosting provider provides security, meaning accessibility and security, meaning the standards that you forwarded me. When we go to using Google Workspaces, as supported by the Indiana Office of Technology, it will also use all of their security and encryption and cybersecurity standards as supported by Google. That's a good question, though.
That's right, because we are one of the sought after people that decide they want to do some damage to us because we're trying to have more things on hand and download them so that in case anything does happen, we can bring things back up.
That's why we'd like to move everything to a cloud service with backup so that things aren't only in hard copy.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Or only on one
needs to be
machine.
done Because Monroe County was just hit with a cyber attack.
That would be the hit to the network, I'm sure. Luckily, we don't have a network. So,
It's one benefit.
In one way, in another way, they can keep track of what's going on too. Yeah.
any other questions regarding website technology? Great.
Thank you, Sue.
I don't know what you call it. Is it NIRPC? NERP?
NERC.
NERPC?
Okay, NERC, yeah. NERC, I have nothing phenomenal to report on the last NERC meeting. The only thing that they reminded us all about is of the continuing construction that takes place on Northwest Indiana Road. So if you want to know where to go and what way to drive, is the code not just looking into Google or Waze, but you can also follow this online through INDOT's website to see where the heavy construction is going to take place at any given time. But that's about it for NERC for right now.
Cool. Okay. On to unfinished business, if you guys are all good with that. Joan, I sent this email, but here's hard copies. Here are hard copies for you guys. This is for the renewal of our leaf removal contract with,
Here, excuse me.
You can have it.
oh, you need another copy?
You want one? It's Rich.
Pardon?
You want one for Rich?
Oh, I had got
Well,
away.
if this came off the internet that you sent to me, Rich has a copy of it because I copied it off.
Oh, yeah, it's the one from the email, yes.
Right.
So we are discussing renewing the leaf pickup removal contract with Signature Lawns. And this, the change this year The only change to the agreement is based on last year's and the previous year's activity, that we'll only call for one pickup in the spring. That's pretty much all they really did.
Or they had to do.
Did they charge us for two different pickups? Or, because that was my question about.
I asked him about why the charges were almost the same, and he said he went back to actuals and looked at hours and times, and he said that really they got everything in almost the first pass.
So I guess my question is, did we pay 15,000
No, we didn't. If you look in the,
for spring last year?
no, we paid,
Just one?
we paid for, yeah, we paid like 7,800.
So that was- Contractually, it was two pickups for 7,800.
Yeah.
And now it's one pickup for
75, yeah. Because I asked the same question.
So
Make
are
sure.
you gonna get other bids, or?
We're treating this as a renewal. This is a renewal from last year.
Do we know about other services that are?
May I speak?
What's
May I
that?
address?
Yeah,
Okay, in the past, when we looked for contractors to do this work and sent out proposals, if I recall correctly, Michael received, I believe he received only two back. I'm not even sure if it was two. Right now, I cannot recall that when it went through, but we are a small place, and the larger contractors were not even looking at us, and some of the smaller contractors were not prepared to do the kind of work that we needed, okay? They didn't have potentially materials, machinery and whatever, so that there are not that many who are interested in working with us. Signature Lawns, as far as I'm concerned, has been doing a good job here. They've been very responsive to any phone calls or complaints. It took us a while to teach people that when it says you have to get your things done by the 14th because pickup begins on the 15th, they are learning to do that as opposed to thinking that it starts on the 15th so that they can do it all week long, of the 15th or the next week or something, until everything gets done. So that has been, I think we've gotten our residents pretty much up to speed on getting stuff ready. The only thing I still find amazing is that when I find almost complete trees, laid out in the front for them to be picked up, but that's the only thing, so.
yeah.
But they've been very good to work with, so.
And we are a smaller town, but we have a ton of leaves. We have a lot.
I would agree with that the service is outstanding. I think.
Yeah, and he's looking to get a third.
I just thought, I agree with Joan that it would be nice if we could find other companies that are competing in this. I just don't know that there are.
Yeah.
The only thought that I had was that Village of Michiana, Michigan has the equipment. I don't know if they have the time, but it might be interesting.
That would be a whole nother,
Well, it'd be interesting to just ask if they'd be interested in taking on our leaves and then get a proposal from them.
when that will probably void this proposal from Signature Lawns.
Well, first of all, we're past the date they say in their letter. I'm sure it's fine, but they do say it's only good for 14 days from June 8th.
Oh, he dated it June, I didn't catch that because this just came this
Something be a
weekend.
mistake there.
Yeah, that's a mistake. It's supposed to be
Well,
July, that's supposed to be July 8th.
When does our current contract run out? I think it's,
It's done.
I mean, they're not going to walk away from that proposal.
yeah, I understand. I just wanted to be clear. If we do the Michiana thing, but it is going to take a couple of, at least another month, maybe.
And I will say that he's trying
I'll go
to,
over there
what's that?
I'll go
Just sit
over
there and-
tomorrow and just,
Okay. I think it's a good idea.
I think it'll be a hard no.
Yeah, because there's some equipment I know he's trying to get ordered in order to even service us better this year, so. And he needs to get that ordered ahead of,
Well, we have time.
yeah, so, so if you're talking to Michiana, then we can't really vote on it and do the resolution later like we would, because we need to figure out what you're gonna hear from
When
them.
does this, when,
When does the contract,
It's good for 14 days and it can be voided after 21. And it's supposed to be July 8th, so I'll have them send another one.
Oh, so that's a mistake.
Yeah, it's supposed to be July 8th.
Our current contract is running.
okay.
I think it ran in
I need a
April.
few, yeah, that's fine.
So, and we do have some time.
If they say, well, we need some time to think about it, I'll just say, we don't have a lot of time, but.
Yeah, he just wanted it, yeah.
Said it, we need till
He didn't want to wait another month, so, but I can talk to him.
August 1st.
May I speak too when there's a chance?
Go for it, Dinah.
Samantha? Okay. Just a note on any kind of decision that would be made with Michiana, Michigan, because they are a town and an entity, a political entity, in other words, in the state of Michigan. I don't know that we'd get an answer back from them very quickly either, and or that they would sell their services of their equipment and their, don't forget, we would then be basically hiring their, I guess, their, worker to do this. I don't know how that works. Brad might be able to give us more info on that kind of thing, on how complicated it is for us to use a service from another town. In other words, to pay for that service to someone else. So I think that we should, ask maybe Brad about that.
Yeah, you can do intergovernmental contracts. I think the bigger point that you made there is just the turnaround time of getting a response. I mean, if they meet monthly, or if the person that's making the decision, depending on when their meeting is, you may not be able to get a quick response from them.
My other question would be, I guess you'll find out if it would, do we just fall down the priority list of when they can get to us, and what does that mean for the leaf pickup?
I think it's probably not going to happen. So why don't we just give them that? We'll explore it for the next contract.
Just one of the other things that takes place for us with regards to the leaves is we reach out to find out about putting us on an agenda, on the plan for the year. Like if we're going to be taking it with them, we want to make sure we get in on the various, on the calendar of the company, whoever's serving us. So that should be taken into account too. And then if we really want to make a decision sooner, we can always call a meeting and just do a public meeting. Because it takes us however many days to call the meeting, and then we can always, if it's necessary, to make a decision sooner like we've done on other things. So I don't know how long it's going to take for Michigan, in case it takes them a couple of months. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, why don't we just approve it tonight?
Okay.
Let's just.
And then do we need a
Signature.
resolution for this? Because I drafted one based on last year.
You should you can make the motion and approve the bid, and then you could.
Make the resolution if needed.
Just like the other.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the signature lawns, quote, dated June 8th, 2024.
Do I have a second for that? And do we want to make a motion stating that we'll correct it to July 8th?
No.
Okay. And then
I second.
Ralph has made a motion to approve the renewing the contract with Signature Lawns, and Sam has seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Great, we are approved. Okay, now under
So
the
you
next,
have 3 ayes?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
what's that?
Yes. 3 yes.
3 ayes. The next item is to get a status update on the tree and debris removal that was contracted out for the town.
Okay, so nothing has changed since the last meeting. Prior to the last meeting, our service provider removed one of the 3 areas where we had requested quotes for. He indicated that the remainder would be done by the end of June, and it has not been done. I've had no communication from him about his plans. It's my opinion that we inform him that we would like to have this done by the end of this month, or we're going to potentially void the remainder of the contract
pay him for the work he's done and go to the second place bidder that was actually $100 lower. Is there any issue with that, Brad?
The second place bidder will only be doing part of their contract though, so they may need to approve for maybe this year.
Yeah, they would need,
We'd have to get another,
Right. So you wouldn't just be, right. So what you're effectively saying is you're giving a deadline to finish, or else you're gonna terminate.
yeah, and I think, you know, we had a lot of discussion about this, and some of the inconsistencies that we face using him. And I think we need to recognize as a town that there are a lot of other providers out there, and for everything that we do and spend money on a regular basis, we need to be looking for the best alternative, both from a price and service level perspective. And we need to put in service level minimums into every contract, and the service provider that is awarded needs to sign off on that, and if they fail to meet it, we impose penalties within the contract. That's standard business protocol for service providers.
Can I ask a question? I know this wasn't in our contract with regards to the tree and debris removal, but from what I understand, that big pile of rocks is still there, so that the park, the work for the park board has not been done, which, you know, on the renewing the gravel path, right?
That is correct. Has any payment been made to the service provider, Joan, for either the tree and debris removal or the stone work?
Nothing's been paid to him since,
Okay.
since June,
Okay.
at the June meeting.
so Sam, I agree with your basic position that for the tree removal, the debris removal, we need to give a final date, fair date, end of July, I think is fair, 3 weeks, with what's going to happen when it's not done.
Then we tell them to cease and desist, and we reach out to
Our second bidder,
Yeah.
or other bidder, yeah.
so
Do we need to make a,
So who does that? Who calls?
who contacts?
Who tells them?
I'll put a letter in the mail. Is that sufficient, Brad?
Yeah.
I can send it via email, U.S. Postal.
Yeah, email preferred for the quicker delivery of it, but just something in writing, giving the deadline to finish per the board's decision this evening. Work expected to be completed on or before the end of July, otherwise the contract's terminated.
So I probably need a motion then to reach out to our service provider and request that our work for the tree and debris removal be completed by the end of July 2024.
I make a motion.
Sam makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
I have Sam's made a motion and Ralph has seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Great. Sam will make a letter or email and snail mail to communicate our decision on the tree and debris removal. Awesome. This was the purchase of maintenance equipment for the town. I know that there's a status update.
Sure.
Just waiting on that.
Before I move on, Joan, are you clear on what I just said? Because I don't have a written report.
Am I clear on what?
On what we just talked about for the
Tree and debris removal.
minutes?
I didn't write it all down, hopefully it's on the,
Okay,
I can't take shorthand.
all right. Okay,
Written reports are nice to have, because if anybody even asks what went on in the meeting, I can pull the reports out. Saves a lot of time on our part.
I never knew that agenda items required a written report, or is
desire.
Dinah started that when she became president of the council, that she required reports from the committees
I must have slept.
and the officers.
Orientation.
She's not been putting it on here, but that's what she started. And it does work out nice.
Okay. For the under item C, purchasing of the maintenance equipment for the town, the status is that the dealer in Valparaiso is supposed to receive the equipment by the end of this week or early next week. And then we'll begin the process of coordinating the pickup of our tractor to take it back to their office shop to have it modified in order to be able to utilize the new equipment. I don't have any timeline for that other than the delivery of the actual mower to Valparaiso. And then our
Is
representative.
this just gonna be equipment on our mower?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a mower with the equipment on it, it's just gonna be the equipment.
It's just gonna be the equipment, the
Okay.
mower and then the attachments, the grapple and the pallet, forks. So that's the end of my report.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Search for building commissioner, code enforcement officer, or,
We are unfortunately reopening that, and our candidate that was interested in the building commissioner position backed out, declined to move forward with it. So I spoke with Dinah about this, and it would be, I think it'd be in our best interest if we have to fill both roles, but I think it would be easier to find one person to do both, and one that has all the technical proficiencies that we need. So I think you and I need to
Okay.
put out a job description, posting, job posting for the combined, again, going back to the combined. I don't know how you get the rest of you feel, but to me, it's just easier to deal with one person that can do.
I think that's fine, and we might run into a candidate that falls on one side or the other, and we go that way, but let's get somebody in the role. I fully agree.
Absolutely.
okay, so yeah, we can, you have a comment, Dinah?
No, excuse me, I was coughing there for a minute, but yes, let's, I know that, I think you were also working on a document, but I have given the documents we had from the past. The ordinance and resolution that we had put together doesn't quite give enough information on exactly what it is that we want, but it's enough, I guess, for an ordinance. So I think let's just review that document. We had that one last time, and then have you post something, because we should post it on our website at least, for more of the residents to be able to see.
What ordinance would we be posting?
Well, no, we have a resolution from the past about establishing the code enforcement officer. We do. We've got that's one of the documents I had sent everyone about when we were beginning to look at that job and, what is it? Code enforcement, I think it's from 2021. The actual document. I'm looking to see if I attached it here somewhere.
I have your email, and
I have,
But,
we
do,
need to
yes.
post,
we just need to post a
22.
job description, and we just need to,
name and a job
Yeah.
description.
and we just need to revise the most recent one because it had been narrowed down to 2 roles, and now we need to revise it to a
Yeah.
combined
Yeah,
role.
because what I
Yes,
said
to put it
was
back.
modified to remove
Yeah,
the code
Yeah.
enforcement.
You should have a review.
so
Yeah.
we'll revise it and post on the website,
Yes.
and
Do we want to move faster than that? We had decided previously that we would just start with our website and our message boards. But it's 2 or 3 months later. Do we want to go broader in our search quicker?
But we haven't posted it on our website yet.
Absolutely, we have not.
Yeah, so,
So Dinah, if you're fine with continuing to fill this role for 2 or 3 more months, that's fine. I'm just trying to, if we want to speed the
Yeah.
process up,
yeah.
we can broadcast the.
You said,
position.
Samantha, you said that once it gets posted on your web, that.
It can get scraped, that will scrape it. I've looked at, I started to put an account for Indeed and because we can force it to them to pick it up. I think we could consider a classified ad in the Beecher as well. I almost wonder if that would be more, Indeed will get it out there, but we could get 300 resumes that have no meaning to us.
I would prefer to advertise it locally.
Yeah, so we could do the Beecher and we could do
Northwest Indiana Times.
Northwest Indiana Times.
But, that's what I'm thinking. But if we want to wait another month or 2, that's fine with me as well.
I'm for the
Well,
Beecher.
actually, look at the newspaper.
Michigan said you had done the Porch paper.
I read the Beechers.
Well, I read the Beecher. I say the Beecher. I don't know about you.
So, okay,
Yeah,
Let's do the
Fort
Beecher.
County Dispatch.
Let's start with the Beecher.
okay.
You guys got a document.
Yep, I know how to do that and how much it costs and all that. So, awesome. Okay, the next and final unfinished business item is the CCG applications. Dinah, I think this is on you.
Yeah, if you had a chance to take a look at the information I sent about my conversation with Brad and the information from his firm, Haas. And then I went ahead and I spoke with Shem Khalil at Global Engineering. So if you compared both of those items, because they didn't, I can't recall now if it was who I was speaking with, Sam, or Ralph, and we looked at these and at first thought that it was, very close. They're actually not. It didn't look close to me. I was confused by looking at one and the other and saying they don't look like it's the same offer. So I found out that the work that was presented to us by Haas, the young man Brad, who was there, making the presentation for us, that only takes us through the actual beginning application process. Anything that has to do with the bidding process, we would be charged at 10% of whatever the total sum is that we're going to be spending or getting as a grant, and plus our input. Let's say we have, I'm not quite sure how much we have, this is just off the top of my head. If we have 100,000 to put in, we can get a grant for up to 300,000 to do something. So we would have 400,000 then of money to work with. They charge 10% of that 400,000 for the bidding process, and then they take us to get us through the rest of it, another 10%. So that means we could end up being charged almost $90,000 by that company to do the work. If we, now I, didn't make, all I wanted to do is go over the fees in general, what Global had done for us in the past. So Global says, of course, the fees are going to be a little bit more than they were last year, as, all kinds of things go up. So they're Global, I didn't write it up for you because he called me back this afternoon. And we ended up paying them $29,792 for the entire process last year.
And I would add to that.
So that it's going to be pardon?
I would add to that they did a really good job of managing the whole thing. They were very professional up front. We pushed back on a lot of the roads they picked, and they agreed with the changes that we came up with.
Yeah.
And they communicated
Yes, they
well.
communicated very well.
And it's potentially half of what we could wind up paying to Haas based on their estimates they gave you. So there's nothing on my plate that says we need to change vendors. Again.
Now, just to let me continue on that, I mean, they did a good job. They were very good to work with as well. Not to say the other one wouldn't, but to me, financially, that's a huge difference, money-wise, for us to spend on those kind of things, because that money doesn't come out of our is supposed to come from us, not out of the grant process. So that's a lot of money. So now, makes a big difference for us on that. But both companies, though, just like Brad suggested, not doing it for now, but waiting till next year, because by the time the bids come through and trying to bid, we will not be able to work on anything until springtime at all. The bid answers, I went to look through my paperwork that I had from NERC. They have come as early as the very end of October, but go into the beginning of November for the announcements of the grants, or the granting of the grants. So then you'd have to go into a bidding process. No work would be done at all this year because the weather will not be conducive to doing anything. And the bidding process and all this kind of stuff takes time. It doesn't go through. You know, it's not like we decided, like you're hiring somebody for home, right? You made the phone calls, you talked to 3 guys, you're done. So it's gonna take longer to get that done. So we could try to get this, you know, right now. They said it would be tough, but we could get it in for July. Because everything has to be submitted by July 31st.
Okay, Dinah,
Yeah.
I want to stop you there because last year, because when going through this, I looked at my notes from last year, and we were having the discussions on what streets to do last July, which is kind of where we are right now, and we had a lot of work done last fall. So my question, you've talked to these people, but what has changed between last year and this year?
Wait. No. Last year we applied in January. We got notice at the end. It was April or May that we got notice. Then we started moving into the bidding process. It's like a 4-month kind of a window during which all the contracts are signed. You can't even do anything until the money is actually awarded. That doesn't happen with the day they announce it, so that takes time. So the problem was that they will not answer. The INDOT makes its decision. It's not like they receive it at July 31st. This is INDOT, not us making a decision. They don't make the announcements until later in the year. So the only thing I'm saying is that we can't begin any kind of fixing of roads probably because it's going to be snow and heavy weather season.
So you're saying that last time when we did this, we went for a January grant and got the work done the following fall?
It took place in the fall. Probably some of it happens after the bidding, depending on when you can get in with the companies, you know, on stuff. That might have something to do with it too. I don't know why that was that long. But the whole process is because it takes longer. We will not be able to, at least, I mean, I'm not an engineer, and I'm certainly not a road paver, but I know that concrete can cure in cold weather and in rain, but I'm not sure about asphalt, what happens with the asphalt. That way I understand it from what both of them said, both companies, that you can't start your work. It makes it much harder for the companies and likely to cost us much more in order to have the work done during the winter if we want to try. So we have to the work would have to be put off. So that's the only thing I'm saying. So if we want to go, we can go ahead and do it, and then we start our work later on in the spring whenever it's good enough for us to work. You still have to go through a bidding process. You still have to go through the signing of the contracts and all this kind of stuff, and nothing gets done until all of that is finished. So we could get into that. Or if you want, we can wait until January. So this is something to discuss today, to apply in January. The way I understood from what Shem explained today is that the state has increased the amount, you know, that can be applied for. It all depends on how much money we have, but we can roll hopefully the money over from this year and include with next year's money to be able to potentially get some more done. Similar thing was told to us by Brad when he came to our meeting. But anyway, so now just think about it and talk and to see, you know, and then we go back to them and see, can you actually get it done for us, you know, if you do it this now in July.
So we have,
If I could add something here. The reason that they don't asphalt in the later part of the fall is because the plant's closed. When it gets to a certain temperature, the asphalt plant closes and you can't get it.
Oh, there we go.
So you're looking to January. We're not gonna get it done this year.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So Dinah, I just want to clarify. Are you saying that we don't do anything right now, or we go ahead and pick one of these firms and proceed, but the actual work won't be done until next year?
Well, we can apply for the grant for this year. I'm not sure, how much money we have that would have to come from Joan, how much we have, as our portion, because we would apply for, the other portion of the money from INDOT for this project. I'm just saying we can apply, we can get it approved. I mean, if we're approved, if we go forward with the bidding process and everything, just the physical work will not be able to be done this year. So it's going to take time. If we apply now, we can get into the schedules of those companies, the paving companies, early in the year, probably as soon as they start working, hopefully, knock on wood, so that we could get the work done sooner instead of like in the fall. So
Okay.
we'd be happy with that.
All right.
Okay, so that can be done.
Okay, I'm still trying, okay, so I understand what you're saying. So if we go ahead with this now, we pick a company, we apply, we get approved based on what we have available, all that sort of thing, it's okay that we don't actually spend the money until next year to do the work.
Well, the financial, state-wise, I guess, Joan would have to tell us, but the money's approved for a project that was approved this year, so I would imagine it has to carry over. I think so. Joan, what can you tell us?
What I told you last meeting, that if you sign a contract for the work to be done next year, you can do what they call encumbrance, and I believe there's 75, it's appropriated out of two, from what I can remember, two accounts, and I think there's 75,000 just out of one for the roads, and I don't remember what the other amount is, but somewhere around $90,000 like we had last year.
Okay, so that's
And
good.
that could be listed as encumbrance. You're gonna have to do what they call an encumbrance resolution at the end of the year stating that this will be paid the following year.
Okay. So, yes, I remember you saying that last month. So I still think we should proceed and try to make the end of July deadline so that we can get all this done, and as soon as they can start making asphalt next spring, we can have the work done.
My only question was, the guy from Haas was here, he was talking about if you wait, it sounded like he said you could get a larger grant, and I wasn't following that, and that would be the only reason I would say to wait.
Well, you can apply twice a year, so we could reapply.
Oh, so we could
in
reapply.
January for next year.
Yes.
Gotcha.
With
Yes, we can
next year's
reapply.
budget money.
See, and we can only get, Samantha, we can only get so much money. If we have, we can apply for a huge grant, but we have to, they will give you 75% of whatever you apply for, but we have to provide the other 25. So
Right.
if we don't have it in our pockets, there's no point in applying for something huge if we don't have anything to back it up on our end. So,
yes, well, you can do that. The other point was if you waited, you'd be kind of doubling up with one application.
Right.
So the costs.
That's where the doubling up
And
was
also,
coming. Got
the
it.
advantage of it would be a bigger project. The gentleman from Haas described it that way, so you can attract, bigger bidders, maybe a better price.
Right.
Gotcha.
And those would not work at the same time. What I suggested would be spring versus fall.
Right.
Okay, so another idea I have then is, if you notice, a couple of these, sorry, Dinah, I've hijacked your discussion. Bob and I drove around yesterday and looked at the things in town that stood out to us. Bob knows these roads better than I do. We came up with a short list circulated earlier today. And there's a couple of things on there that are not super expensive. They're less than $10,000. And they don't require the same big equipment. They're not it doesn't appear, if they're gonna do a section of road for $1,000, they're not digging it down and starting over. They're resurfacing what's there. And these are in pretty bad shape. So at a minimum, I would propose that we try to get those done. And we could apply for matching funds on that. And it's a much smaller expense that would come out of this year's budget now. But I don't know. I just don't want the opportunity to slip away. The roads aren't going to get better by themselves.
So you're suggesting apply now, perhaps using some of the funds if it goes through in the fall.
Yeah, some of these projects could be done in the fall. They're small.
And when you say could be done in the fall, you're saying with or without the matching funds, or
With the matching funds.
with the matching funds?
But I mean, they're small enough that we could just pay for them, but it'd be nice to get the matching.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. That you could say we would perhaps pay for them and then,
But it kicks into this whole thing Brad was talking about. If we're going to use the matching funds, we have to use one of these firms to help us go through that process.
right,
So these smaller ones might be ones that, you know, it says $8,000 from a 2-year-old report, so maybe it's $20,000 now. But that's within our budget to get those things fixed. But not the way Bob has to fix them with road patch. Hire a company to come out and fix them. I don't know.
I'm missing a lot of what Ralph's saying now.
But if you hold 24 and 25 together, you only have one bidding process and one paving process.
Right, but
If
we
you
wouldn't
put the
start
two
until
together,
January
so
on
that
either.
might save some money on our part.
Right.
But if, what Ralph was saying is, these jobs are small, they would be included in the bid, so that shouldn't change. They're not gonna bill us more because they do it twice, right?
If you're gonna do something this year, you're talking about having the bid and the paving and our costs for that part. And if you do it in 25 and you're gonna do another process, you still have to do the bidding and the paving again.
Yeah.
So you have the engineering.
Yes.
Well, it couldn't be.
Yeah, it's gonna be a cheaper engineering to do all of it at once than it would be.
And you're right, if the big projects, it sounds like it makes more sense that we just get our act together and we apply in January.
And get it all done.
And we'll address these smaller projects somehow this year.
you're suggesting splitting them off and that we have this bigger project, but some smaller ones we might tackle on our own.
The drawback to this is that it'll be
Not until
a
spring.
year and a half. If we start the process in January, it won't be until the fall that they actually do the big work. So we either do 2 big projects
Yeah,
or 1 big project. The 1 big project will save considerably on the engineering expense. Because that'll go up a little bit if it's a bigger project, but it's not going to double. If we do it as 2 big projects, I didn't think of it that way. You know, this $30,000 is going to be $60,000 because we're going to do it twice.
Yeah.
And we'll still run into the thing of, can we find somebody to do it in the time frame?
right.
You may have better luck getting somebody with a bigger project because they're more than apt to let the little projects sit there until they do the larger projects, which are being done now.
That's a good point.
You know, and we may not have to wait till fall
Yes.
to do it, but they'll put the little projects on the side.
And forgive me, John, I forget what you called
The
doing
encumbrance.
the encumbrance thing. That doesn't, that
That
has nothing to do
doesn't
with this at all.
affect it, but if we do our budget this year, we don't lose any money, that still stays in the MVH fund.
Right.
So we've not lost any money. That's what's been appropriated. So
Yes,
if we
sir.
do the budget and you know what you're going to do, and speaking of the budget, we need to decide when you want to meet, because I have to get this information to the accountants around August 1st.
Okay.
Because
So-
we set a hearing.
So where are we landing here?
It sounds like, and, feel free to argue with me, I'm doing all the talking, that we are not going to submit for the CCMG grant by the end of July.
We're gonna
The
submit.
focus will be to submit a bigger, better proposal in January. And
Makes sense.
And that would include the 2 years.
Right, that John's talking about, so that'll give us more of our money to start with, but it'll also give us a much more matching money. And
Right.
because this factors into something else that Sam and I talked about, and Bob and I talked about, is trying to address Michiana Drive as a separate thing. That's a little more complicated because, of course, it has to be done in conjunction with our partners across the border. And we don't know how that would work with the grant process. But this gives us time to kind of figure that out before we apply for those monies.
That's a bigger, that structure is bigger than probably everything else combined that you've got on your list, bittersweet. Because it's a longer stretch, it goes from Hiawatha all the way to Pontchartrain, just as actually a little bit past Pontchartrain as it goes up the hill toward the beach. All these.
Well, we have to do half of it. Yeah, we have to do half.
That's right, Bob. Anyway, we got to figure that out. So this approach would give us time to talk to Michiana about it. You know, maybe they just say get lost and we wind up.
So are we landing on aiming for a proposal in January, making the January deadline?
That's what I'm seeing. But Dinah,
Yes?
what do you think?
It makes more sense to me to wait until the January one, because I like the idea of getting a greater amount and being able to do a lot more work. I know that we have problems with some potholes and stuff, and I know people will come up and complain and whatever, but as long as we are planning to do something, that's always our a self-defense that, we can't get it done now, but it's in the works and we're planning on doing it, except that the project's coming forward, so.
Okay.
I can say one more thing. If she has 90,000 on the budget this year for paving, we're gonna have another 90,000 in January in the budget for paving. We're, $180,000 then?
Yeah, then we can do a lot more.
Right.
Does that prevent us, yeah, I agree, does that prevent us from any of these $1,000 ones doing it on our own?
Well, what I was going to say is, if this is what we're going to do,
Yeah,
Bob and I can talk about that and look at these things, and maybe what we can do is go get quotes on those, and maybe this old estimate that we have is crap, and those are $50,000 projects,
Right.
and we're not going to do that, or maybe they really are $10,000 things, and we do those this year.
yeah, got it, separate from the, okay,
Just to give you guys an idea, when I had El Portal at Oakdale, that stretch there
yeah,
redone, that was over $50,000 just for that.
wow.
And that was 100
That
feet.
gives you an idea how far your money's gonna go. And that was several years ago. Prices have increased since then.
Wow.
All right, I got a good idea. We buy a lot of asphalt and we rent ourselves one of those backyard rollers and we get out there and we fill them and we stack them down.
Okay, so
I have
that's,
to watch you do that.
Okay, so,
Dinah, you will need to let these guys, the two contractors, know what our plan is, and we will get bids from them
accordingly,
late in this year for the January
Yeah.
program.
Okay, all right. Sounds like a plan.
I just felt compelled to talk about
okay,
that. 'cause-
this is good. Any other, oh, sorry.
So when you decide when you want to meet, I was thinking since you're having an executive meeting, we can meet before or after
That's fine with
for
me.
the budget. In the meantime, you can find out how much it's going to approximately cost to do both jobs, 24 and 25. You have a schedule already of prices for 24. So you're gonna have to add the 25 to it, so I know what to put in the budget for next year.
Okay,
I can't just grab something on
we'll
my,
give you a number.
okay.
Awesome. Any other unfinished business?
Can I go back to item B, tree and debris?
Yes.
I'm gonna write the letter to the service provider, it's the same service provider that's doing the gravel drive and the gravel walk on the nature trail. And I'd like to get everyone's approval for me to add that deadline of July 19th for the gravel on,
Oh, July 19th for the gravel and July 31st for the trees?
yes.
Absolutely, it's gotta be earlier.
Oh, yeah, for the, yeah. Thank you. That's important.
Donna, you're okay with that?
I'm fine, I'm good.
Okay,
What about, those dead trees near, oh, I mean, you haven't moved there yet, I'm sorry.
yeah. Okay, now we are on to new business. If we have no more unfinished business and new business, one item that we added to the agenda is dead trees that are on private property near public roads. Yes.
I sent an email earlier today to a few of the council people and Brad and Joan, identifying two private properties where there are large standing dead trees that are close to the road. These were actually on Bob and Diamond's original tree removal list until we found that they were on private property. But one of the trees showed a fairly large branch right at the intersection of Brookside and Oakdale. So it kind of is impeding the view if you're turning onto Oakdale from Brookside. But the point is, there are 3 or 4 or 5 very large trees that are completely dead and they're falling in bits and pieces. And it's probable that one of them is going to impede the roadway, hopefully not injure anyone. But my thought was that we should be proactively notifying the homeowners. Property, one's got a home on it, one's unimproved. Notifying them of the situation, encouraging them to voluntarily have the trees removed for public safety, and otherwise, I'll run the language by you, Brad. Otherwise, if something should fall and it would require the town to either remove the tree themselves or hire it to be removed, that we would go back to the homeowner for payment for such removal services. So, and I think next time you're walking down one of the streets, if you see something like that, we need to start identifying and making that proactive notice. The consequences are if those trees fall and we haven't notified them, formally notify them that there's a potential problem, then it's the town's expense to remove the tree when it falls across the road, which has happened a couple times over at one of the residents on Shadow and
And that's where the notification can do a shifting of that liability to the property owner. If you're alerting them, if they're aware that it's a dead or diseased tree, the liability is on them then to have removed it. So, the only thing I would say, Sam, is, and this goes back to the letter you're going to send to the contractor too, there should be a copy, and I'm sure you're going to give a copy of those to Joan so that they can be added in to the record here. So, should we ever need to refer to it in the future?
copy you and copy Joan.
Joan specifically, yeah, okay. So, you want me to put eyes on it before we send it?
Okay.
Okay,
Yes, please, just,
Okay.
we're
Cool.
going to do this again, so let's get
Yeah.
language.
Okay. Awesome. I don't think I need to make a motion for this one. On to an attorney report from Brad.
Right, so we've talked about it a couple times already, and Joan's brought up that you're gonna wanna have a meeting for the budget, so our deadline is the same as their deadline. We've got a hearing coming up on comments on August 1st, so I would like to have a meeting, executive session. Ideally, if we could do at least 2 weeks before then, so that would just already be next Thursday. The only day I'm not available would be the 17th. If you wanted to do an evening meeting, I could do pretty much any day other than the 17th. With executive sessions, you need 48 hours notice. When you're talking the budget meeting, you just want to get ideas from now, right? You're not talking a public meeting for the budget yet.
It still has to be a public
Right,
meeting,
they-
but they still.
Right, you do the public meeting later.
Did you say the 17th is not good?
17th is not good for me.
I'm available any time next week. I can be.
I could only do the 18th or the 19th.
Are you talking about a meeting now in July?
Yes.
Executive session on the 18th
And budget meeting.
and budget.
And before or after.
I would ask that you do the budget meeting after, so we're not keeping it here. Thank you.
Okay, the 18th is a very bad day for me. I've got a medical appointment that was scheduled a year ago on the 18th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know when I'd be home. And then I do have another meeting that night. Can we do it on another day?
Can we do it on I cannot do the 15th, 16th, or 17th.
What about the 19th?
Yeah, what about the 19th? I like the
I'm
19th.
good.
I can do the 19th.
When?
The
19th?
Friday the 19th.
At what time?
That's fine with me. Thank you.
During the day?
Anytime you want it.
I have court at 1:30, should be out of there by 3, and that's actually up here in Michigan City, so I'd say anytime after 4.
Okay, we'll shoot for 4.
Okay.
Does that work for you? Are you going to be in town?
I was going to be in the city that day, but I will be in town because that's a good time otherwise.
So 4 o'clock on the 19th, we'll have the executive session, and then we'll plan on starting the budget review at 5.
Okay, fine.
You think that's enough time for that?
Yeah, that's plenty of time. For litigation purposes, obviously Cummins will want to discuss briefly the Urias situation. We've got a new one on, but not new, but Banks is ready to move forward, kind of depending on where we are with the building commissioner, who's going to be.
Oh, wait. This is July 19th.
And then the last thing would be the small transactions we talked about. So if there's anything else that you guys want to address, maybe email me ahead of time.
Yeah, I'll think about that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Is this still good for everybody?
4 o'clock.
So 4 to 6?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I think that's good. Works for me.
Okay.
And that's all for everybody
Thank you.
then.
Anything else, Brad?
No.
Okay. Any other miscellaneous business?
Yeah, I have a few things that I would like to mention here. Where did I make my notes here? Okay. One of the things, July has come now, July 1st has come and gone, and we had sent out notice to everybody with the spring newsletter regarding trimming at the corners of their properties to make sure that there are clear lines of sight for drivers on the roads. So we have some people who have complied and have trimmed and cleaned, but then we have many others who have done nothing yet on their corners. So, I mean, we sent this general letter. You know, Bob and I chatted the other day, just a quick question and stuff like this, and he says, hey, you know, you already announced it for July 1st, now we get to start trimming. Do you guys feel that we're okay on just doing that, or do we have to send them, Brad, you let us know too, do we need to send them individual letters?
I'm sorry, I was adding on my calendar, I just.
Trimming of the trees around the corners, we've already notified people.
You've already given them written notice,
Written notice, right?
and you're clearing on public right away?
Well, you know, we sent them email, I mean, we sent them a newsletter.
We should send individual
Individual
letters.
Yes, yeah, if you're gonna be.
That's the next
yeah, yeah. So it's-
Okay, sending individual letters.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
do we have a list of those places?
I had made a list of those houses last year when we were doing the driving around, looking at the, you know, at what it looked like. And I'll do that again. I'll drive around, and I can, you know, I'll take my secretary Ray with me, and we will look. Or he could drive and I could write, you know, and stuff. And then we'll make up our list, and I can get that together, you know, probably this week. I'm sure I could do it this week. So to notify people about that, okay? So that was one question that I had. Number 2 is just want to let you know that the STR that was approved for 210 Sunset. They do have everything in place for the CO2 or carbon monoxide, not CO2, carbon monoxide detectors. And I actually walked through to see, so they're all okay on that.
Okay.
Then I just wanted to mention that there was a question raised about the fee for the BZA. And the BZA did make a recommendation to raise their fees to $250 from $150. But I got notice from Joan and Brenda that there's no resolution on file about this. So I went back and reread all of, can you hear me now or not?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That I went back and I looked through the various information that I had from the BZA, and I read through our BZA things and the ordinances. I took a look at the BZA info that we have, that the BZA works from, right? And it is not mentioned in any of these about a fee increase. The only thing the ordinance mentions is that the BZA should have an adequate budget to work with. So now, do we need, and here we'll need Brad's, input on this. Do we need to actually pass an ordinance that says that they are okay to raise the fee that they're charging? And the fee is because in some cases the paperwork and all the mailing has increased so much that there were bills of over $400, I thought, on several of the STR special use grants that were or uses that were being applied for. So spending much more, than the 150. So now, they already want to increase it, BCA does, but what is our process? Do we need to take this through an ordinance?
It would come down to the enabling ordinance or whatever created the BZA. Typically, they're going to be given the authority to set their own fees.
This has been discussed 3 or 4 times over the last 3 or 4 years. And the way I remember it, the last time we discussed it, it was determined that the BZA has authorization within their rules to change their fee structure, and it does not require approval by the town council.
That would be typical.
Then, but in the ordinance that exists states a fee, so that just means that ordinance is out of date.
Well, I don't know that we have an ordinance of any kind regarding the BCA.
I don't know the 150
just what is
bucks
in the ordinance itself.
Okay, I'll reread that again, but it says paying it.
Does our town code specifically state that BZA has a $150 fee? I don't think that it does.
No.
My
It
guess
does
is in the BZA rules of procedure, which haven't been updated probably in 40 years.
No, they have been.
Okay,
Those
because
are one of our drafts here, I
the
think.
Plan Commission rules of procedure was last updated in 1962 until I updated them a couple of years
In
ago.
the ordinance for amending the special use provision and creating a short-term rental permit?
No, this would be in the bylaws of the BZA. What they can charge for,
But this does say, because I looked it up,
probably the only thing listed in there is the permit fee of $150 that the state allows the town to charge for the initial permit. What we're talking about, the BZA gives a special use grant. That's a different thing.
Yes.
so there's a permit plus a BZA fee, two different
Well,
things.
Two separate.
Right.
Two separate things.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's a
There's
BZA.
publication of records and stuff. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying the BZA covers more than just the STRs permits.
Got it. Okay. Then I think we'll just
Okay,
have to be clear to people if they are wondering.
It's confusing.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we do have a letter from the BZA where they sent to us and said that they want to, and they're increasing their fees, that they all voted to increase. But, the question came up that we supposedly don't have an ordinance in place showing that anybody has approved it. So that's why I'm bringing this question up. Did we need to or not? What takes place? Because
Well, there's
Town code doesn't say.
again, I don't have all the background in this, but there's a clear distinction that separates the BZA from the town council. And that's so that we don't the town council doesn't overly influence the BZA. So
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense that the town council would not authorize changes in the BZA rules of procedure.
Okay, that makes sense to me, so. Okay, but it was a question that was raised, so I.
It says the initial permit fee is $150 payable to the town of Michiana Shores. That is what
But
it says in the ordinance.
that's CR permit.
That's for the permit, not for the process.
Right.
Not for the BZA special use grant.
Grant, yeah,
Special use grant versus short-term rental permit.
yes.
Got it.
Plus that fee is for changes to residents, what do I want to say? They do other things besides the
Yeah, it would be
short-term
for-
rentals, and that fee applies to all of it.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, then, moving on to, other things. When I was looking at all of this through our municipal code, I also realized that we are not in compliance with how the BZA is made up currently, because we are supposed to have actually 2 people that come from the Plan Commission that go on to the BZA. And currently we have only 1 from the Plan Commission. So just take a moment someday to read through what it says about the BZA in our ordinances on how we're supposed to appoint. So if we don't appoint it, but they get appointed from the BZA, the Plan Commission, the town executive appoints 1 person from the Plan Commission to the BZA, and then the Plan Commission appoints another person from amongst themselves, but not town council members, onto the BZA. So just check it out in the council. We're not going to do anything today. I just wanted to bring it up. But when you read, it does say that. I read through it twice today, and then I said, oh, okay, fine. So we got to fix this going forward.
Hey, Dinah, Mr. Ruff, what I would add to that, and have you checked to see if there's state rules about that? The state's pretty precise about,
They do.
how many people have to be on the plan commission and what their makeups are. So they may have
They do.
rules we need to follow for the BZA as
It's
well.
so May, they do have them, I've seen the rules.
So,
I was on.
and my guess is the rule that you're reading is really coming from what the state made this up whenever that happened.
Yeah.
But that would be
Well,
nice.
anyway, I just looked, this is in our ordinances that I took this from. And I don't know about changes, but it'll be something to look at, okay? But I looked the reason I read it is because I was looking for those BZA. What was written about the fees. Okay, that topic's done. Next, this refers to some of the things that we see with questions that come through on the information through the website. There were several calls, more than several, about tree trimming and greens trimming that was taking place. And all of these people were saying, but I live in Michiana Shores, and all of them were unincorporated Michigan City. And they were complaining about trimming. And they were being very irate and very, just seemingly very angry about what's going on. So I responded to those, and I said, either if they called or through the email. And I said that you really need to reach out to the streets department in Michigan City and talk to them, not to us, because it's not our property, on what they were, it's not in our town. So anyway, that was just, I thought I'd make mention of that since, you mentioned, Samantha mentioned, the things coming through. And then I believe the last thing was, someone had mentioned, this came through on next door, but I thought it was an interesting point because I'm all into walking safely on the roads and encouraging, for instance, in my case, all my grandkids walking the right way. So the person mentioned something about, can we ask for signs or get something done that shows that pedestrians should walk on the side to the left, on the approaching side, bicycles should be on the other side. Makes total sense. I know that it's a safety issue. This is what the cops said to us in Chicago all the time. And it happens to be, in Chicago, the issue was so you could see anybody coming forward in case they wanted to jump you, or jump out of a car and do something to you. But on our roads, I think it's also safer because then you see someone who's coming. I have a friend who was walking at Lakeshore Drive and she got hit by what is it, the big mirror off a big truck, you know, that threw her into the grass. She was farther east on, farther west on Lakeshore Drive, but the guy, she's very thin and tall, but she got whipped into the grass because the mirror hit her. And now had she seen the guy approaching, if she was walking on the left, you know, nothing like that might have happened because she could have ducked. But anyway, it was just out of curiosity. This was something I noticed. So I figured if anybody asks, you know, to do anything like that, I figure it's something that we can support. I know I'm going to support that if they're asking. I just thought it was interesting. So
I would not support additional signage telling people which side of the road
Thank you.
they should
I
walk
would
on.
I would agree.
It's common sense. We've talked that way since we were kids, and that's going too far, in my opinion.
I don't want no signs.
well, not as a town. I did cross, you know, I mean, anybody, I was the same.
Any other communications, Dinah?
Put it on man.
Nope.
It'll take up the whole road.
Nope, okay. Any public comments? Any other council comments?
Nope.
Then I would like to call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.